So a little bit of background of where we are, because I know it's been quite a while. You remember you all brought down the Chartland Dragon with the help of some of the guardsmen here, with pretty heavy damage to the city, unfortunately. You were all kind of caught in a web that is being woven by the former speaker of Targos, Naerth Maxinanar. He kind of arranged things to trigger an election to try to overthrow Speaker Shane, and she felt that she wouldn't have the majority because now the majority of the residents here in Bryn Shander are from Targos. She didn't feel that she might have the majority in that election, so she triggered an ancient ritual, a trial by combat, to ensure that she would remain speaker. This may have played directly into Max Lidonar's hand, though, because he's chosen Sheriff Southwell to be his champion. And then, of course, Shane convinced Guardian to stand in for her. So that's actually where we stopped last time, was the sheriff getting ready for combat. So Guardian, you see the sheriff. He had his arm in like a sling before because he took an injury, fighting the dragon, but he removes his arm from the sling and he picks up a shield and draws his sword, and he's just kind of watching you.
Oh, well, we're just going right into the combat. Okay.
Well, that's where we started before. Or stopped.
Right.
That's where we stopped last time.
It's been a bit. All right, well, I'm just going to get into position. And pop a rage. And just rush at him and whack him. What's the chain? And you know what? I'm going to do it recklessly too. 19?
Let's do initiative first, because you might actually not get to roll first.
Okay.
And before the fight starts, can Rorgar kind of saddle up to Speaker Shane just to make sure that nothing happens to her while this is going on, while there's a big distraction in the middle of town?
Sure, sounds good.
Level are we again? 6?
What level are you? Yeah, you're level 6.
It's new. I think it's level 7 I have this at, but I want to double check. Yeah. Okay, cool. 20. That's weird. I had Guardian selected for that.
So I guess you can do the thing you said. You run out to him and rage and whack him with the chain.
And did you want to use the same roll as 19?
Let's do another roll because, yeah, that is not fair since we hadn't rolled initiative yet.
All right. 18.
An 18 will hit.
Yeah, 14 damage.
14. Are you going to try to grapple him with the chain?
No, I'm just going to do damage.
Okay. Well, as you swing the chain around and slap the sheriff, he catches it on his shield. And when you hit him, Guardian, lots of people in the crowd, because most of the town is assembled around this fight, lots of people start booing at you.
That doesn't bother me at all. Doesn't bother Guardian at all.
And Rorgar, as you make your way over to the speaker, you notice that she's actually got a little bit of a tear coming out of one of her eyes.
I'll try to reassure her. It is this is a game we were forced to play. It is not your fault, Speaker.
I should have known that he would try something like this. Southwell he's a good friend. He's been a very loyal defender of Bryn Shander, and he's even if he wasn't injured, I just your friend is, and she kind of motions to Guardian. I can't see how the sheriff will have a chance.
Hopefully, we'll be able to keep the sheriff. Is this a fight to the death?
Yes, it is.
Oh my. Yes, I do not favor your sheriff as well.
If one of them were to surrender, the entire thing would be thrown out and the election would have to continue. That is why I wanted one of your friends, someone I knew who would be brave and stand. And there's no way the sheriff would give up anyway. And she kind of rubs her face with her hand. This is the worst situation. He's such a good friend of mine. And what Southwell does, Guardian, is he seems to fall back from your attack, and he makes it look like he's starting to slip and he's panting, and then moving very quickly, he steps to the side and attacks you 3 times with his longsword.
You know what I forgot? There's level 5 where you have a second melee attack. That's fine. I'll remember it next time. It's so long.
So his highest roll was a 20.
Yeah, that'll hit.
7 slashing.
Has you already reduced that, or does that I need to reduce it?
I'm leaving it to you to reduce, yeah.
Okay.
So his 1 hit, he attacked 3 times, but only 1 hit, even with advantage. He hits your armor and it just kind of clangs, doing very little damage.
I just look at him for a second as of where he hit me, and if Guardian had muscles to show, he would be flexing them. Just, like Conan. Yeah, I'm gonna whack him again. Recklessly. 24.
24 will hit.
I'm just gonna do damage. Oof.
21?
Yep. And then, because I already hit him, I can hit him again. Yeah, extra attack. Yeah! So I'm attacking him again with a chain.
Go for it.
Recklessly.
A 25 will certainly hit.
Okay, not that bad damage, not that bad. Yeah, Guardian isn't saying anything except just for, those bear roars he usually does. And he's just getting vicious with the hits.
I think you hit him over and over, and he manages to get his shield up 1 or 2 times and block the strike, but 1 strike goes through, and the chain, as the spike hits him, hits his furs, actually catches his jacket on fire, and he tears his jacket off. He looks very haggard at this point. But again, he doesn't relent. He throws his shield down and charges at you with his sword in both hands and makes 3 attacks. 19 and then a 21.
Yep, those will hit.
So that's 16 total.
Okay, my turn.
That's your turn.
16.
A 16 will not hit.
Okay. Does that mean I don't get my second attack then?
No, you do.
Okay. And yeah.
A 15 will not hit.
Ooh.
So as you again swing the chain at Southwell, he manages to duck under both blows, and as your chain hits the snow from where it missed him, the spike itself and the chain is still burning, and it leaves a trail of melted snow behind it. But he kind of steps back for a second and takes a breather, and Southwell looks at you and he says, I'm sorry that you got caught up in all of this.
Just look at him and just let out another roar again.
Then Southwell again attacks with his longsword in both hands. And at this point, when he moves in, the crowd starts to cheer. Let's see, he got a 20, a 21, and a 16.
All 3 hit.
Okay. That's 24 damage.
Okay.
Okay, my turn.
Yep. it's you.
Chain. Recklessly. 19.
19 will hit. His AC 17.
14 damage.
That is enough to take him down. So describe how that looks for us, please.
I imagine as he's trying to back away to like get ready for the hit, Guardian has wrapped the chain around him and like gets a good hit, and he pulls him back, and he wraps that chain around the sheriff's neck, and he just puts one hand on his shoulder, and he doesn't give a second or anything like this for anyone to try and say anything. He just reefs on that chain. Killing him.
And there's lots of booing in the crowd, and you hear someone say, "Papa."
Oh, no.
And Shane turns away as the lifeless form of Southwell falls to the ground.
I have a question. How I know he's dead. How dead?
He's dead. You'd have to use a resurrection spell to bring him back.
Okay.
Okay.
Just worth an ask.
I'm gonna lean down, grab the head of the sheriff, and throw it at Speaker Mac.
And Maxwell Dinar, he kind of looks back and he says, "Well, I guess that's done. Too bad about the sheriff. I guess we have our speaker." And he motions to Shane. And Shane still hasn't turned around. She's facing away from the body.
I just look down at the Bryan Shander speaker.
Well, the Bryan Shander speaker is still Shane because you won.
Oh, sorry. What was the town?
It was formerly the town of Targos, which has been destroyed.
Oh, I look at him.
And Maxwell Dinar, he looks up at you and he says, "Well fought. Well fought, my friend."
Safe travels.
He says, well, you as well." And Shane, she finally turns to you, Rorgar, and you can tell she's been crying, and she says, I need to get away get away from all of this. You could find me later, but I need to be somewhere else.
Understood, Speaker. Be careful. I do not trust this Maxwell Dinar.
No, none of us should. I think he's played his hand for now, though.
While this is going on, Laja is shooing away all of the people watching and just sort of like, I don't want to say getting his body parts back, but just like, respectfully gathering the ex-sheriff so that we can start through the process of putting him to rest eventually.
And as this is happening, Varian, behind you, you hear a female voice say, "Well, of course, I just knew that you all were involved in this."
Valin, where'd you come from?
"Well, I heard something about a white dragon fighting in Bryn Shander with some sort of mechanical monstrosity that had killed a few other towns, and something just told me that you all had a hand in it. So I managed to get transportation here to Bryn Shander, and lo and behold, everyone's coming here to the town square to see a fight. And of course, I see you all here, right in the
We were
middle of things.
mostly involved with taking down the dragon. This mess here is a lot of Speaker Max his doing. So we just kind of got caught up in it. It's very unfortunate what happened, but I don't think you can blame us for someone getting murdered in the streets.
Except for it was one of you who did it, but we won't go over details. So I take it that you made
Very
your
minor.
way back from the Dwarven Kingdom.
Yes. We fought our way through there. Unwittingly unleashed the dragon on the town, so I guess that probably wasn't great of us to do, but we did destroy it, so points for us for doing that.
Indeed, wherever your party goes, there tends to be a wake of destruction behind you.
I think we're just wrong place, the wrong time sort of thing. There's a lot of bad thing. I think wheels are in motion. It's like, have you heard of the 10 towns warming phenomena, where like every year it's getting 1 degree warmer, and we're gonna hit a point where it's irreversible. And I think we're kind of hitting that point with what's happening here. So we're just along for the ride, trying to do our best to mitigate any damage, and unfortunately it is not looking good for us.
I see. I take it that you found something in the Dwarven Kingdom that we can use, correct?
We did. I don't have it on me. You'll need to speak with the rest of the party, but we do have some treasures here.
Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad that this town and the other towns didn't take the brute of a dragon that you unleashed on them for nothing.
Yes, we're very happy to see some people survived.
Indeed. Well, I'd like to see whatever you recovered. We can study it and then continue on our endeavor to stop the Frost Maiden. And perhaps for the fortune of the 10 towns, I'll be able to take you away from them for a while we figure this mess out.
All right, sounds good. I'm gonna walk over near Laja and Rorgar and kind of gather them up to come and speak with Valin.
You find Laja currently busy praying over the body, but you can interrupt her.
I'll just stand respectfully off to the side and wait for Laja to finish.
She'll finish up and turn to Virian and say, I'm not sure if I necessarily trust the what was it, the bishop, to handle all of this, so we might have to stay in town maybe another day or so.
That makes sense. The bishop does seem to be a little off of his rocker.
And Valin says, now stop me if I'm wrong, but this isn't the first sheriff of one of the 10 towns that you've killed, is it? Didn't you kill the one in East Haven as well?
Everyone's now silent.
Honestly, I don't think that is something that I want to think about right now.
I don't usually get the occupations of everyone that we kill, so there may have been a sheriff in there, but
I think technically he had a higher rank than sheriff, actually.
I think perhaps we should rethink this business of killing people within the 10 towns, but that's a discussion we can have later.
fair. Might be worth investigating.
And she looks up to Guardian. Guardian's, several feet away, and she says to Elijah, it appears as though your friend has picked up some sort of artifact. And she's talking about the chain.
Yeah, ever since he's had that chain, he's been a little moody,
I mean,
but
it's
he
certainly
fights
a
great.
strong weapon, but
Hmm.
I don't know. I
I
don't
mean,
know
you
what's
saw
been
it
going
rip
on
the
with
head
him.
off that sheriff.
I just thought it was the pressure of suddenly being a speaker of a town himself.
He's had a lot of life changes in the last little bit, to be sure.
Well, far be it for me to judge his stress, but I'd be happy to take a look at it if you can calm him down. He looks quite extra murderous right now.
I think that's a good idea. And I'll walk over to Guardian and see what he's up to.
Guardian's left arm is becoming blackened and charred. The roots are slowly looks like they're turning into like embers as they're being burnt, and he's just really gripping that chin as he's looking at that speaker. You can actually hear like the bark in his arm just like cracking and snapping. He's rotating his wrist with that chain.
Guardian, is everything okay? Maybe we should move off to the side a little bit. I can take a look at your wounds.
He just slowly look at you and look back to the speaker. He's like, I wonder if there are any other old laws we can enact.
Well, we don't have to handle everything right now. Let me take a look at what damage you sustained, and then we can figure out things from there.
We'll heal.
I'm pulling his non-burned arm just to pull him away. And unless he tries to like pull me back, hopefully he will follow.
There's a bit of resistance for a second, but he straightens up and then starts to walk with you.
Guardian is a very large toddler right now, full of anger and rage.
He is hangry.
Valin was going to take a look at this chain. It seems to be, you know, it. I'm not sure what it's doing exactly to your arm, but I can take a look at that, and she can take a look at it as well. And maybe we can help you stop sustaining so much damage.
Fine.
Why don't we return to the right hook?
I mean, we could. I don't necessarily want to leave a scene here unless the speaker is sending for somebody to take care of cleaning up here.
I think at this point the speaker would have brought over, or maybe not even someone the speaker called, just some of the townsfolk would have realized that they should take care of the body, and they pulled together like a cart or something and started to remove the main part of his body onto the cart.
Great, in which case we don't have to worry about that anymore. I really didn't want to leave a desecrated body in the middle of the street.
No, it's not a bad idea, especially with dead bodies coming back as undead, like they have been.
Okay, so then let's return to the right hook, and I don't want to say debrief, but probably that's the right thing to do.
And as you're walking through town, a lot of people are still getting together after the attack. There's still some injured and everything. People are being treated, but as you're walking through town towards the right hook, people give all of you like a side glance and a lot of very dirty looks. And Guardian, you go to turn down a side street leading to the right hook, and someone throws like a big piece of lettuce or something at you, but when you turn, you don't see who did it.
I don't think Guardian really cares.
But as you all make your way there, everyone does get out of your way. Like, you don't have to push through crowds or anything. As they see Guardian approaching, everyone moves to the side. And as you enter the right hook, it was kind of noisy the last time you were here, but as soon as you walk through the doors, you notice it is completely silent. And everyone kind of turns and looks at all of you as you walk in. Ned behind the bar, he stops cleaning one of his glasses and puts it down on the bar, and he kind of watches you all. It's sort of like you know everyone has stopped whatever they were doing, and they're all watching you.
If everyone's staring, Rorgar will look to everyone and say, "Yes, the heroes that have destroyed the mechanical dragon have returned to your fine establishment."
I don't know if that's the right thing to say right now.
A bit of an awkward silence passes, and Ned says, "Oh, of course, my friends. Have a seat. Drinks are on me, of course. Forget the somber mood of the tavern. It's been a difficult day for everyone." And Valin goes to one of the tables, still hobbling. She has the one bagged leg that's still bad, of course. And she slowly lowers herself down into a bench by one of the tables.
Guardian will walk over to Valin, sit down kind of up to the side, with the table behind her, and hold it his left arm with a.
She says a few words of magic, and then the chain begins to glow like a bright blue. And she says, "Well, definitely magical," as if there were really much doubt there. As to if it's cursed, unfortunately, I don't have that spell since I lost my spell book. But considering, and she looks at the rest of your arm, considering the damage it's doing to you, I would guess that it's cursed.
I haven't noticed anything different.
Where by chance did you find this?
Battlehammer Hold, I believe.
Well, did you find it in amongst other treasure, or?
It was attached to another thing like me.
And was this thing friendly?
Do I have to answer that?
Do you want my help?
It wasn't friendly.
Well, putting those pieces together, I'm going to conclude that whatever it was, this thing may have had a little bit to do with its demeanor and may be affecting you as well. I would still maintain that it's probably cursed.
Right.
Well, if it is cursed, we might be able to fix that. I mean, that's not too hard. And she'll like open her book, flip through to a couple pages. I could see what I could do about it. I don't know if that will hurt the object, but I mean, it's better to not have a curse than to have an object that is useful, right?
It has been useful.
But it
is
also might
quite
continue
useful.
hurting you.
No, that's simply me wanting to murder the hell out of that other speaker. Drag him through the snow, slam him into a few trees, let him suffer for a little bit. Look for a
Well,
pack of wolves and let them feast upon him.
would you at least trust if I try this out? And if I break it, then we can figure out how to fix it.
Fine.
So Elijah's gonna cast Remove Curse.
So immediately when you finish casting the spell, Elijah, Guardian, you notice that the chain is still smoldering, it's still burning, but it seems to have gone down a little bit in intensity, and the discomfort you've had since you picked up the chain, back in Battlehammer Hold, is gone. And you notice that like there was a ringing sort of in the back of your mind that's also gone, and you feel a moment of relax that you haven't had since then.
I'm gonna take it off.
Is that a little bit better? I don't know how we can test if it still works, but you know.
I still wish to crumple that Max speaker into a small flesh ball and throw him at an alligator. But it's not as bad as it used to be.
As long as it's within reason and we can decide thoughtfully on what to do, then I think that's okay.
He's just gonna take the chain and look at it. He's gonna look at his arm too, and he's like, great. Back to the mall.
And since I have the spell slots, I'm just gonna use a nice Cure Wounds and see how that helps this. I have slots for days. Take some healing.
Whoa,
Ooh.
that's a good heal. But Lasha, as you finish your magic, you notice the darkened spots on Guardian's arm begin to fade back to the normal color, and like some of the leaves and branches also continue to grow around his arm. Wherever the chain was wrapped around his the metal part of his arm, it's left like scratches and like a small indentation where the different chains were wrapped tightly around it. That hasn't been healed yet, but it appears as though your spell has, removed some of that damage, perhaps.
I guess we can keep an eye on this and hopefully it'll get better with time.
He's just gonna look at the chain. He's just gonna poke it into a sack. He's like, oh. Normally, when I fight someone, I kill them quickly, and then cut them open for nature to take hold. This decided to make me take my time.
That blackened metal that it's made out of, the chain, it's called Chardolin. It's a metal that is ripe for enchantments. However, this black color, I have noticed typically means that the metal has been cursed. I would stay away from anything that resembles it.
Jim, how heavy is this bag?
With the chain in it?
Yeah.
But as heavy as you want it to be. The chain is just a normal chain.
Yeah, no, I'm just wondering because how Garns is going to look at Raylan. He's like, how much weight can your little owl carry?
While my familiar is not an animal per se, she is a summoned creature. She can't carry much more than a few pounds.
Think she can carry this?
Is it more than a few pounds?
That's on you, GM. Is it more than a few pounds?
Yeah, it's more than a few pounds.
Okay. You can have Susan take it and dump it into the lake.
And she says that could be a way to dispose of it. It is still a magical artifact, though. You may have uses for it. it seems as the daughter of Lathander has removed the curse, so I would imagine with her blessing that it is probably no longer dangerous.
You said that this metal itself is cursed.
The metal itself is a vehicle for magic. The metal, before it's has any sort of curse or evilness applied to it, looks grayish, not unlike the rest of your armor.
I think someone's at my door.
Yes, the mechanical dragon was made from the same material, as well as we've seen statues in some of the 10 towns that seem to be making people crazy.
Yes, I'm not surprised. It appears to be this metal is being often infused with dark magic.
Especially in East Haven, it seemed to the speaker there, Denneth Whalen, seemed very attached to this Shardolin statue of the Frost Maiden.
Oh, I remember that statue very well. I think he moved beyond attachment, if you know what I mean.
And there was a similar one in Battlehammer Hold, if I remember correctly.
It is interesting that. Do you think it might be part of the nature of this metal that makes people obsessed with whatever is made out of it? I mean, Guardian was very attached to this chain for a while.
It's very possible the metal itself could create that, and the evil enchantments just extenuate it. I haven't really seen uncursed Shardolin to examine thoroughly to tell you one way or the other, but the cursed variety is, it's quite prolific here.
Out of character question. With that remove curse spell being cast, did that also remove the whatever had happened to Guardian from looking at the Frost Maiden?
No, Guardian, that's something separate, but Guardian's condition had expired anyway. He was the first one to have those effects cleared. This was, his curse was a result of just picking up the weapon. The weapon was cursed. With the curse removed, though, it's still functional. It functions the same way. It just doesn't have the negative part of the effects that Guardian was under. But Valin says, I'm eager to see what you learned from Battlehammer Hold. It sounds as though it was a very expensive mission. I take it that you found the king? Was he still there? Or what was the state of the old dwarven kingdom?
I believe the king was there and had gone mad, and not naming names, but one of us may have pushed him into a flow of molten steel.
Oh, well, I take it he's dead then?
Unless he can survive such things. But yes, we found in the treasure hold, we found some papers, and I believe we also found a map.
I would say we definitely have the information we need to move forward. I just don't know what else is happening out in the 10 towns. I hear stuff about bodies coming back to life more commonly than they were before. So we might have to be pretty careful while we're traveling. But we know where to go.
With her one eye, she looks up and she kind of looks away and she says, bodies coming back from the dead. That's interesting. Another problem. But you said you found a map. Did you happen to rescue the map? I would love to see it.
Yes, and Laja will pull out the map and the other papers that we found.
So, question, there's two other things that you found that you may not have presented to her yet. You did find a spell book, which I know you told me you took, and then you do have the stone that came from the skull, the head of the black dragon when you killed it, the Professor Stone.
I think I at least would start with just one thing, and then we can discuss other things as the evening goes on, I suppose.
Okay. She looks at the
Back.
map and she's very excited when you present it to her, and she says, "This is exactly what we needed. Look." And she points to the right side of the map where it's like clearly marked, the Elvish kingdom of Ythrin. And she says, "This is exactly what we needed." And then she reaches into a bag and she pulls out another map that she has of the 10 towns, and she sets the two together, and she looks away and she turns back and she says, well, the good news is we have a general idea of what the Elvish city is. The bad news is it's, if I'm reading this correctly, it looks like it's deep in the Ragged Glacier. That could be a problem.
Well, the suspense is killing us. Go into detail. Is that the right use of that?
So I marked it on the map as an X, and the red X all the way in the right corner, and you can see, first of all, how far away it is. But as she lays it out for all of you, she begins to explain, well, first of all, if the city is still there, if it's not covered by feet or perhaps kilometers of ice, frozen ice, because that's what a glacier is, there will be the long journey to even get to it, which could be quite treacherous because, unless you've never seen one before, a glacier is in fact a large block of ice. Not to mention the several rugged tribes that, by rumor, have started to resort to cannibalism to survive. They are known to be very warlike and not very friendly.
It's a good thing I don't have meat and flesh.
Well,
The rest of you,
unfortunately,
unfortunately.
that's exactly what I was thinking.
It was nice knowing you. He's gonna pull out his little book and open it. Made a joke. No one laughed.
How much supplies do you think we'll need to even get over there?
And she begins to estimate. So give me a moment and I'll figure that out for you, how long it is.
We could go back to Goodmead and take the pot.
That's what I was thinking, but also I wouldn't want to be, rude to all the people of Goodmead. We left them with this because they were struggling.
That is true. We should check on Goodmead on our way.
If we're going to pass by there, yeah.
We can make a detour.
At Guardian speed, if you went straight from Bryn Shander past East Haven and then straight across, it would be about 24 hours at Guardian speed.
Love that I'm now a measure of speed.
Oh, there you go.
You are, because you're the snowplow.
That is also counting on no extra conditions when you get on the glacier that would slow you down.
Also, did I just become speaker of this place too?
No, you didn't.
No, Speaker Shane is still speaker.
You should go talk to her.
She has to be left alone for a while. Seeing her friend die was not easy.
I guess watching and doing are two different things.
That's gold, man.
She probably feels responsible for all this, even though it was Speaker Maxwell-Denar's fault.
His name is really annoying.
Velen, when we do get to this elvish town, what are we looking for in particular?
Well, we're looking for a book called The Codicil of the White, which, according to what I've read, will weaken the Frost Maiden. And then from Laja, inside of your pouch where you had the Professor Stone, you hear the stone say, it's kind of muffled because it's still in your bag. It says, "No, that's not right. It won't do that at all." And Valen looks around and she says, someone has a comment?
I'm gonna pull it out because Lajo forgot that it was there. I remember that it was there, but Lajo forgot that it was there and is gonna pull it out as it's continuing to speak.
So to remind everybody what the Professor Stone is it's basically a gem that you recovered from the head of the Chartland dragon. Apparently it was sort of the thing that gave the dragon intelligence, although it was probably through other sorcery that this thing was bound in the brain of the dragon, I guess. It was a part of the mechanism. But once you freed it, it was obvious that it's not like murderous or trying to kill anybody. And it said that it's actually an expert on a few things, one of which is, this whole area. And as soon as you bring it out, it's a gem about the size of a softball, and it's kind of milky, sort of like a moonstone look. But when you reveal it to everyone, the stone continues, and it says, "No, in fact, the Codicil of the White is an ancient book that was brought out by followers of Oral, in fact, to profess their obedience and their loyalty to her. If you were to go to the island of Grimskull and read from the Codicil of the White, all it would do is just make her ignore you. It wouldn't, in fact, actually weaken her if she's taken mortal form." And
Jim, does this trigger anything in Guardian's head, by the way? Like just the Elven runes and stuff like that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
But Valen looks at the stone and she says, "That is a Professor Stone. I was not expecting that. A Professor Stone is a magical artifact that is created with the extensive knowledge on certain topics, and we are very fortunate. Apparently, it knows a lot about the Kingdom of Ythrin."
It was in the dragon. I don't know if that is relevant or not.
Well, that's interesting. And then the stone continues. "In fact, if one were to use the Codicil of the White, the ritual, as I said, it would be to proclaim almost to Oral, if someone were on the island of Grimskull, that they were one of her followers, which would actually be very advantageous because anyone who stepped foot on the island would immediately be recognized. Oral would immediately recognize them, and it is rumored that she keeps a garden of foolish adventurers who have stumbled onto her island. Of course, those adventurers are encased in ice for all eternity. I've been told it's quite impressive."
So you're telling me we must profess our loyalty to the Frost Maiden to have any chance of killing her?
Well, if you were to use the Codicil of the White, that's what effectively you'd be doing. I don't think it would do anything, you wouldn't have to worry about any kind of rituals or anything. You wouldn't know or anything. It's just the nature of that book. It contains the earliest incantation, I would say, of the followers of Oral. If she were to hear it, she would probably just ignore you at that point. And in fact, it was written by the elves in the Kingdom of Ythrin as a way for them to sneak onto the island of Grimskull. Apparently, they had collected the rituals from Oral followers that they had captured and, I believe, tortured considerably to get the full account of the ritual.
So So does that mean that this book will be useful to us or not useful to us? And Lasha's just gonna look at Valin.
And Valin says, well, if we want to try to take on Oral, we'll have to make it to her island. And the stone is proclaiming that if we were to not use the book, as soon as we stepped foot on the island, she would know that we're there and she would know our intentions. Apparently, the stone is saying if we use this book, it will allow us to travel on the island undetected or at least ignored. And the stone says, yes, that is correct. And Valin looks on the map that you had, the one that has the point that says Yithrin, and she points to the left corner and she says, this says the island of Grimskull. We could ignore the stone's suggestion and just try to take on the Frost Maiden now, or we could try to get the book.
I believe within the last 12 hours, I was beaten by muggers. So I'm not sure we are quite ready to take on the Frost Maiden just yet.
So we probably should first gather supplies. Second, plan to head towards where we can acquire this book. And then from there, plan further.
Yes, once we have the book, then we can decide on a course of action. And maybe there are secrets in the book that may be more helpful.
And Valin smiles. The elves of the kingdom of Yithrin were renowned sorcerers. It is very possible we'll find more assistance there. But traveling across the rugged glacier is no small feat. I recommend that we visit one of the local Goliath encampments to see if they can offer us any advice before we undertake that journey.
Sounds like a solid idea to me. Maybe we can hire someone as a guide.
She says that would be ideal, of course. And perhaps one of them might have an idea of someone that we could speak to on the glacier. I imagine finding this kingdom, even with the map, will be sort of looking for a needle in a haystack.
And are you intending to come with us on this journey?
I intend to, yes.
All right. What is Virian up to as he's just sitting at the bar?
Oh, I just didn't move my token over. I imagined I was there. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I imagined you were trying to set up another fight between two sweaty old men.
I was trying to get Scython to go round two with old man Stanley again.
Well, it sounds like we have something approaching a plan, so do we need to wait here for any reason, or should we just go now?
Well, what time of day is it?
I think, oh boy, I think I said that it was midday. Yeah, we'll go with that. I honestly can't remember, but I think midday sounds about right.
And do we want to show her the spell book? Because it could be her spell book.
I mean, sure, if as we go through the conversation, probably at some point, Lasha will remember, oh, we found something else at Battlehammer Hold. I don't know if this is useful to you, and presents the spellbook.
And for the first time since you've met Valin, she actually expresses the emotions of like excitement. And she, as you remove the spellbook from your bag and you start to hand it to her, she grabs it from you, immediately opens it and starts to like flip the pages. And she says, this is a remarkable gift. I need time to study this. I haven't been able to recover my spells since the fools in East Haven burned my spell book. This is wonderful. This changes many things.
Great, then I'm glad we brought it with us.
And she says, the journey to Warm Doom Crag, which is where one of the Goliath tribes I know of is, should only take a few hours. We will need supplies, though, of course, because if we go on from there, we should plan for a considerable amount of time on the glacier.
Right. Well, we should go talk with Speaker Shane, make sure things are settled here, see if we can get some resources for a town that was just attacked by a dragon and have lost a lot of civilians. Maybe about lynching Speaker Max Lodaris outside of the city. We also have to stop at Goodmead.
Valen says, and why do we need to stop in Goodmead?
Because I'm the speaker there, and I need to make sure they're okay.
I just came from there. Everyone was fine. As fine as they can be under the curse of the Frost Maiden.
They survived it fine?
Of course, no dragon came to them. You stopped it
No,
here.
I'm talking about the Frost Maiden. They survived that lonely night.
I think some may have had it worse than others, but when I left the town, there were still people there.
And how are the orcs?
The orcs. I saw no orcs.
Just look at Rogar for a second. Like, we sent orcs down there, right?
Yes, maybe they got lost. Kind of hard to miss.
Look back at the battle, like, you sure you went there?
Am I sure that I didn't see a band of orcs?
That we're directed to go to Goodmead to help protect it.
Let's see, I traveled from Goodmead to Bryn Shander. I saw no orcs.
And now that just raises concerns. That makes me want to go down to Goodmead even more now. Plus we can get supplies there too.
And she rolls her eyes. Just remember that every day that we delay, the whole of the Frost Maiden continues tighter and tighter around the 10 towns.
You realize that every time you say this, we have to fight something weird later.
Yes, imagine if you would have listened to me and we could move faster.
I'm not sure if I'm the only one who sees it like this. I think perhaps the only thing of note other than peace of mind that we would get in Goodmead is to pick up the cauldron that we left there, which would help us not have to carry as many supplies. But if we are prepared to bring supplies with us, and we'll have to figure out how much that will be, then we can avoid going to Goodmead and just go straight there.
I
guess
can carry
kind of
quite
the
a bit.
trade-off.
I can carry quite a bit of supplies.
In which case, then we probably should just try to get on our way as quickly and efficiently as possible. It's not ideal, but maybe we'll be able to, I don't know, get more information before the next time that they are due to make preparations for the Frost Maiden.
Well, technically, the travel time from here to our new destination is going to be rather short, considering that, well, I help all of you move through the snow a lot faster now.
It'll still be several days, plus looking around in that area to make sure that we find the right place. There's plenty of time where we could potentially get lost.
I'm just concerned about the town apparently I'm in charge of.
And Valen says, well, think of it this way. If you remove the Frost Maiden, you'll be helping your town more than any other thing you could do.
I think that's
That
pretty
far out of the
reasonable.
way.
I think we should just go ahead and gather supplies and travel rather than taking a detour.
I am with Laja on this one. I think we should act as quickly as possible to end this Frost Maiden for good.
Mm-hmm.
Fine, but if anything has gone wrong, I'm holding all of you accountable.
So then, do we want to head on our way today or tomorrow?
Guards just gotta get up. Like, I'll go talk with the sobbing speaker.
I will go with you. And maybe Virian and Laja, you two could start procure. I can't say it with the accent. Getting supplies.
Of course. We will get plenty of supplies for our journey. Flynn, you're welcome to come with us.
She says, I think I'll spend time here looking through this spell book. I might have a lot more I could bring to the party if I can get some of my spells back.
Okay, that's good as well.
Then Rogar will follow Guardian, and we'll head out.
What's Virian going to be doing?
Going with Laja to get supplies.
Okay. I don't have anything set up where the speaker is. Let's say, Guardian, you and Wargar eventually wander your way over to probably Town Hall. And just outside of Town Hall, you find the speaker, and she's helping people, get together food and stuff.
Speaker.
And as she looks up and she sees you, Guardian, her face, like her whole expression drops. And she looks at you and she says, oh, hello. Is there anything you need?
We're just letting you know that we're going to be heading out rather soon.
Good. I mean, that is probably for the best.
You did ask me to do this battle for you, and you knew full well that it was to the death.
She says, I know. It was my decision, yes.
Don't let it haunt you. If you want to put the blame on anyone, put it on me. Or the other speaker. Speaking of him, where is he? He's taken off yet?
I don't make it a job to track the movements of Speaker Maxwell Dinar. He's doing whatever he thinks he needs to be doing.
Maybe you should make it your business to track him, because he's very cunning and quite evil, it seems, to take advantage of a situation where so many of his people and yours died, just so he could have a little more power.
It's true. And the next step I need to take is to find a speaker to replace Southwell, or a sheriff to replace Southwell. I haven't started that, but we need a sheriff, someone to enforce the laws here.
Well,
I'm sure he had competent men underneath him.
Yes, he did. Another thing to consider is that now I have to consider the people that are my citizens that came from Targos.
Do they plan on rebuilding?
I've heard some people talking about going back to see what they can recover, but I don't imagine that it'll be possible to build. We lack the supplies, for one. I would much rather use our efforts to repair the wall at Bryn Shander, and the houses that were destroyed it seems that this town is much more defendable than the ruins in Targos.
Our friend Scythen, who is he seems to have a good supply of wood. He might be able to help with some of the repairs.
Oh, that would be very helpful if you have a contact who could help us with for getting our hands on lumber. That would be very, very useful.
He seems quite fond of wrestling at the right hook, so he might be there right now.
Indeed.
Wait a second. Doesn't Goodmead have a bunch of lumber too?
They do.
I'm asking this as Rogar because like Garland's he's just remembering things.
I don't remember. You're the speaker.
I don't even know how that happened. Oh right, the short, angry little dwarf that was all about exploiting the people. Right? Yeah, him. Draft up a letter requesting lumber. I'll sign off saying that you can purchase the lumber from Goodmead at 10% above cost. That's something I think I was told that when I was trying to buy javelins at one point in time. I helped a shopkeeper out by stopping a thief by throwing him into a well. I don't know if they caught him out.
Throwing him into a well. Very
The
interesting.
thief. The thief. He splashed around and he said help, so.
And she shakes her head. I'm sure that made it better.
Well, I'm pretty sure they won't let him die. Ruin a perfectly good well. Anyways, if you want to be angry, just as I said, just be angry at me. But I'm trying to help and how I can. But I also have a town to look after, apparently.
And she kind of looks up at you and sets her jaw a little bit, and she says, okay, I will send out a letter to Goodmead to see what help they can provide. And she says, I thank you for your help in securing my position as speaker. However, I think you have to understand, I won't be too sad to see you leave.
That's fine.
And she looks to you, Rogar. Now, is there anything that this town can do for you and your group as you're leaving? Is there anything you need?
Well, actually, we are heading into the Ragged Glacier, I believe it is called, and we could use rations, coats, maybe even some sort of sled that we can pull. Just things that could help us in our travel.
What do you mean we? You're just gonna have me pull it.
I can always take a turn, you know.
I think you're too old for that.
Rogar looks a little stung by that.
I'm gonna pull out a book and he goes like, told another joke. He looks defeated.
Well, if you go see Bran, he can help you arrange what you need. I know we have at least a few axe beaks that could carry a reasonable amount of supplies. Of course, food is very limited. And we can perhaps spare a few rations here and there, but unfortunately, we just don't have much to go around, especially after the dragon attack.
Whatever you feel is fair.
Anything will help.
Yes, apparently we're going to try and sort out the issue with the Frost Maiden.
And she kind of looks surprised. So you're headed to the Ragged Glacier to fight the Frost Maiden. Well, I wish you well on your quest then.
Be interesting to see how this lands turn back when she's defeated. If she is. Apparently those cannibals.
I thought the Frost Maiden was a goddess. So you're saying that you are going to take on a goddess yourself?
Should be fun.
There are many stories of adventurers fighting gods and occasionally winning. Plus, we have a god on our side. Bahamut.
Right.
And she says, if you have any funeral rites that we should know, or any requests in case you don't make it back, I could certainly collect those as well.
Let's be honest, you don't care about me. And that's okay.
She says, I'm not even sure I know what you are.
Big.
You helped my town, you helped me, but you murdered my friend.
Yep. Technically.
So-
In some ancient duel that you requested. And the speaker of the other town picked him. I'm assuming he picked him just to throw you off your game and to make you more susceptible or possibly have you step down with grief.
I don't intend to do that. My speakership cost me the life of a good friend. What's frightened me during that duel was when you killed him, you seemed to enjoy it.
That was probably not his fault. He was under the effects of a curse, but that has now been cured.
No. When I fight, I do enjoy fighting. But typically when I end something that was living, I let nature reclaim it. That was the difference. I'm usually quicker about it.
And she says, well, I have lots that I need to attend to, and she looks away. And you can tell that just talking about this is still upsetting her. I have many people here that I need to make sure have food and a place to stay for the night. As I've said, I think we can provide you some, at least minimal, supplies to help you on your journey. In case I don't see you, I wish you good luck and good fortune, and who knows, maybe you'll surprise us all and you will be able to beat the Frost Maiden.
I kind of want to because I have a town that's, again, I don't know why I wanted to become the speaker. I blame that chain. He just starts turning around. Like, we're at the, what's it called? The nasty hook? Left hook?
The right
hook?
hook.
Yeah, that place.
And she says, yes, the Right Hook, which is now the only inn and tavern still functional at Bryn Shander. Yes, I met you there before.
Okay. Bye.
And she promptly kind of turns away and starts to talk to other villagers, just ignoring you very quickly.
This is what she wanted. This is like, why is she upset?
No, it's what she wanted. She just doesn't like it.
It's funny.
And when
The
she
guard-
sees you, she sees the person that killed her friend.
Brutally.
That's why I didn't let him go alone.
Yeah, I guess Garen will make his way to the blacksmith while we see what the other two are up to.
So I think you two make your way eventually to Garn. It's kind of also where the speaker has sent the other two. But Laja, you and Virian are eventually shepherded towards Garn. And remember, Garn is the blacksmith, but he also has kind of become the quartermaster of the town in some respects. As you make your way to the smithy, you can hear him working on something. There's the loud sounds of him hammering away.
Okay, Viren, I think I'm not sure most of what we need. We mostly need food, I guess. Just lots of rations. Do we need
Oh.
anything else?
If we're heading to a glacier, I mean, I think we're covered
We
up
have
pretty good.
snowshoes.
We have snowshoes, so that shouldn't be a problem to get around. Anything cold weather related would be good, but I think we're pretty well equipped, so probably just making sure that we stay fed and don't die in the elements.
I think that sounds fair enough.
Virian, why don't you give me a survival check and you will have advantage.
All right.
With a 9, I'll rule it as you may have never actually been on a glacier before.
Perfect. Yeah,
Penguins live on a glacier?
glaciers can't be too much different than land. I think we got this covered.
It's mostly snow and ice, I guess.
Yeah.
You don't need anything like special for snow and ice, right?
No. I mean, what are those things called? Crampons that you put on your shoes and they dig into the ice, but I mean, I think that's just superstitious.
We could ask Garn, see if he has anything to suggest to us. I don't imagine that he'll try to sell us things that, he doesn't think we'll need.
Yeah, he seems like a pretty straight shooter.
Okay, we have a good plan.
All right.
Now I will walk into the smithy.
And as you walk in, Garn seems to be humming as he's hammering away on a piece of metal on his anvil.
Excuse me, if you have a minute whenever you are ready, you don't have to, stop what you're working on.
And he looks up. Huh? What? Who's that?
We're looking to get a hold of some supplies. We were pointed in your direction.
Oh. You? Huh. I saw you before. Huh. Don't see too many young dwarf women around that I haven't met before. Huh. Well, name's Garn.
Laja, good to meet you.
Good to meet you too. And he kind of fusses with his beard a little bit. And who is your handsome friend here?
Handsome.
Tyrion.
Whoa.
He's my traveling companion.
Oh. Okay, traveling companion. All right. Well, yeah, name's Garn the Hammer. They call me the Hammer because I use a hammer. They're really creative here.
I like
I
it.
mean, if you're gonna get a nickname, then it might as well be something that suits you.
Yeah. So I imagine you're probably here to ask me all questions about that crossbow thing that we built that took down the dragon. Yeah, I did most of the work there. Pretty fine craftsmanship. Like I said, helped take down a dragon. Only had a few hours to build it. If you're impressed, that's okay.
Very impressed,
Yeah.
Garn.
We were able to make good use of it. It definitely ended up helping out a lot. We were looking for some supplies actually. We're about to head out of town, going traveling over to the glacier actually, and I know we'll need to find somewhere to get rations, of course, but I don't know if there's any other equipment that we need. Honestly, this isn't an area that I'm too familiar with.
If you're going to the glacier, I think you probably first need to check your brain a bit. You want to go out there? That's honestly the most inhospitable part of Icewind Dale right now.
Unfortunately, that is where our journey is leading us.
Okay, you've heard about the Ragged tribes, right? The primitives that just want to kill you and skin you, and now I've heard they're even starting to eat each other.
Yes, we have.
Got a lot of experience with people of that nature.
Frost giants, mammoths, saber-toothed cats. Those are the things that are on there too.
All pretty typical for us.
Okay, well, you're probably going to want some food because that's the chief problem they're having in the Ragged Glacier right now. At least according to rumor, they ran out of food. So that's why they're eating each other, because that's all there is. Unless you want to resort to cannibalism, eat a arm or finger or something every day when you're hungry.
I think we were definitely thinking about starting with food, but I don't know what sort of other equipment we might need. We do have snowshoes. But I
Well, the thing is, a snowshoe's actually not going to help you out on the glacier. Don't know if you've ever been to a glacier before, but it's actually a big, solid block of ice.
wouldn't know. I'm from down south, unfortunately. But what sort of equipment would you recommend then?
Let's see. He looks around. I've got some spikes here somewhere, and he pulls them out of a box. And they're like crampons, just essentially things you tie onto the bottom of your boots, and they just have spikes on them on the bottom. And he says, you want to use these. It'll make, moving through the ice possible. It'll be slow and exhausting, but it's better than slipping and falling down a crevasse and no one ever finding you again. Also recommend some rope. You got any of that?
I think we have plenty of rope, don't we? Do you think that we need any more, Virian?
I have a good amount of rope in my pack. I have 3 50-foot lengths of rope. I would assume that would be enough. Plus, everyone
I was
else
going
might
to say
have
we
some.
have a normal amount of rope, but I guess we have an abnormally large amount of rope, so we might be good on that front.
Well, what you want the rope for is to tie to each other. So if one person goes falling off of a cliff, the others can pull him back up.
So then we probably have enough.
Well, I leave that up to you.
How tall could the glacier possibly be?
I mean, I imagine several hundred feet, if not more.
Sounds more like a mountain than a glacier. All right. Maybe we need some rope then.
It's rumored that the glacier is nothing but a giant block of ice that's rolling over what used to be a totally different landscape. Of course, even before the Frost Maiden, it never got warm enough for the glacier to melt, so who knows?
Do you think we'll need climbing gear?
Ice
What?
picks, something like that.
And he looks around. I've got some picks here. He pulls out basically some spikes. You could use these. Don't really have any picks. Give all those to the guards. I'd use these spikes. I mean,
Okay.
I don't know. If you're climbing it, you're probably doing it wrong.
Well, just in case. You never know, right? Even some small hand axes that could double as picks or something, worst case scenario.
Yeah, I actually do have axes, plenty of axes. And he pulls another box full of axes. And these axes are, mostly like hand axes designed to throw and stuff. They look like they're probably moderate craftsmanship, nothing remarkable.
I think it's fair to say that until the others get here, we'll probably be discussing random bits of equipment on and off, and eventually take whatever he recommends to us. We will end up taking, as long as it's not too much supplies.
We're like the first time kayakers or mountain climbers at like a mountain supply store that know nothing and will just pretend we know what we're talking about and agree to take whatever he puts down on the table.
So he's got you set up with like the giant, backpack and like the walking sticks. And he's like, and you want to get the clear coat for your climbing axes. I promise.
Hopefully he's a little bit decent to us, since he is meeting a fellow dwarf of which he does not see many of.
But his eyes do go at one point and they rest at the hammer that you have probably hanging from your belt, Laja. And he says, wait a minute. Is that the forge hammer?
What, this? And I will pull it out and just sort of hold it. We found this at Battlehammer Hold.
And he takes a step back and he says, the last I saw that, I was just a small child. I thought it was lost.
No, we ended up clearing out most of the things that were, taking up residence there. And hopefully once we are able to finish with all of this business, that we'll be able to, let people return to Battlehammer Hold. If they want to. I mean...
Did you see the king?
He didn't look too well, unfortunately, but I mean, who knows what is still happening there since we left.
Well, I guess if anyone's going to be carrying the hammer, I'm glad it's someone as respectable as yourself. It just took me by surprise. I had dreams of making something with that hammer one day, of course, even as a child. I never thought I'd see it again. That's took me by surprise a bit, that's all.
It's definitely... I'm hoping that once we get to bring everybody back to Battlehammer Hold, I can leave it with your people again. It's not something that I would want to, remove from its home forever. But for now, I'm treating it with respect.
I think around this time, Guardian, you and Rorgar make your way over to Garn's shop with the list of stuff that the speaker said that she would provide for you.
Garn will open the door for Rogar. Like, come on.
Oh, thank you. Rorgar will just stroll in.
Yes, you have to respect your elders.
And you just see us with so much rope. Just like trying to gather all of these things together. Very busy, not even noticing that you came in.
Garn just looks at everyone and is like, I'm not even going to ask.
Virian, are you going to get the clear coat on that axe?
I mean, it was recommended by Garn, and he built those pretty cool ballistas that we were using. I gotta take him at his word. I think I trust the guy.
He helped.
He said he's taken a lot of credit for it.
Look at Garn. Like, well, I guess you need to use whatever stepping stool you need to get a little higher elevation above all the other blacksmiths, don't you, Garn?
And Garn says, if it isn't my favorite mechanical monster.
Boo.
I was hoping the dragon would eat you.
I tried. Apparently, it disagreed with me.
I can understand why.
Listen, friend, the speaker has given us a list of objects that you may able to procure. God, why do I keep trying to say that word? I can't say it at that accent.
Procure.
Yeah, a list of items you may be able to give to us to help in our journey. And I'll give him the list.
He takes the list and he's looking at it while he starts to light a pipe. And after a moment, he blows some smoke out of the pipe and he says, well, I guess I got most of this. She wants me to give you a couple axe beaks. Well, I got some of those. Now, here's the thing. Don't too much care if you all come back. Except for you two, Lexi, Ulaj, and Varian. But definitely make sure you come back with my axe beaks.
Of course, we'll take good care of them.
Absolutely.
Now, they don't need too much food or water. They're pretty good on their own. But where you're going to be going, everything wants to eat them.
Wait, why are we getting birds?
Well, they can travel on the snow and ice better than anything else.
I travel through the snow and ice like nothing else.
And I imagine you'll be traveling down the glacier very quickly.
Most likely. Save time.
Just think of it as backup in case something happens to you, Guardian.
Don't we also have a dragon that flies?
Suzanne is not quite big enough to fly with anyone on her back.
But she can fly with supplies.
She's also quite likely to eat those supplies if we aren't watching her 24/7. She is very fickle.
She's also likely to eat the, what are they called? Quillbacks? Oh, that was completely off in my fame.
That is true. I will have to give Suzanne a stern talking to before we leave. Make sure she understands.
You do realize I can carry a lot.
Yes, of course.
We don't want to have it be too much of a burden to you, I guess I would say.
I'm just trying to make sure that we get there with resources to spare. Having to give up rations and also worry about these creatures while we're trying to deal with the Frost Maiden seems limited.
Guardian, if we don't take these axe beaks with us and something happens to you and we have to carry all the supplies ourselves, as strong as I think I am, I don't compare to you. We will be in very big trouble.
I think if something happens to me and I'm no longer around, the rest of you will be joining me shortly thereafter.
Don't you have an old lady in your party too? You're gonna drag her across the glacier?
Apparently she's by choice. Worst case scenario, she becomes rations.
She will likely need a ride, or she will slow us down considerably with her injury.
Give us your lamest birds. Ones that you might not care about.
And he says, none of them are lame.
Let's just keep this going as the speaker intended and pretend that this never happened. Please, Guardian, just go with it for now. We need to figure everything out so we can be on our way.
And as he starts to bring out the axe beaks, he says, now, these two, if you need to, they could probably carry the three of you. And he points to Yverian, Rogar, and Laja, and he says, I would recommend if you come into a rough situation when any of the ragged barbarians, you hop on the axe beaks and run away and leave that one. He points to Guardian. Yeah, leave him behind and let him fight him off or something. Maybe they'll build a shrine out of him thinking he's some kind of totem or something.
Knowing how things progress, I'd probably end up being their leader.
Sure.
Anyway, thank you for all of these supplies, and we will be sure to bring your axe beaks back in good condition.
Yeah, they'll take responsibility for them. I'm having nothing to do with it.
Just remember, no one knows how tall these glaciers are, so if, you know, your mechanical buddy here goes falling down a crack, well, I'd just keep on going. You know, you could try looking for him, but
You must really hate countertops.
well. He looks around. Well, I got a lot to do, lots of things to fix, you know.
Yep.
Important man here in the town now. Pillar of the community.
And
Short
before
pillar.
we leave, I will pay him whatever he ends up charging for all of the things that the speaker doesn't cover.
And he says, well, for the keeper of the forge hammer, let's just say it's on me.
Are you sure? I wouldn't want to impose on your business.
No, it's alright. I figure you need to be extra blessed to carry that hammer, and even blessed more to partner around with these folks.
Well, I appreciate all your help, for sure.
I just walk over to him, look at him for a second, pull out a piece of gold. I just put it on the highest point I can reach. Like, there you go. You have a good one.
Yeah, thanks. You too. Oh, hey, question. I just heard that there's this new sheriff appointed, some guy I'd never heard of before. He's another dwarf, which actually kind of funny. I don't know him, but I do kind of keep to myself. Anyway, somebody from down south. His name is Shander. Apparently, he was just elected sheriff. What do you think about him?
Ah,
I think he likes old women.
He likes
He's a
old
bad
women.
egg.
Let's be reasonable here and just say he's a bit of a womanizer and leave it at that.
Oh, all right. Well,
You can fill in the
actually,
rest.
I thought it was just for one woman. He tried to woo her.
well, he's got big shoes to fill with Southwell being gone and everything, but the people of
We
Targos
may-
seem to be taken by him.
we may want to go speak to Speaker Shane one more time before we leave. Garn, this Shandar, he's suspected to be involved with the Zentirum. He was skimming money from Goodmead.
Oh, that dwarf.
Or were you thinking of Scython?
Yes.
Yeah, he is a womanizer.
Everyone's name is kind of just. Shandor is a prick, and he got kicked out of Goodmead because he couldn't be an honorable individual. Don't trust him.
No.
Ah, well, I'll mostly keep to myself anyway.
Yeah, no. Definitely, I can see him and Speaker Max trying to attempt to kill or subvert or replace Speaker Shane at some point.
Well, the people of Targos seem really taken by him. Maybe it won't be so bad.
Well, let's go warn Speaker Shane before we leave.
You can all do that. I'll go get everything prepped and wait for you by the gates.
Sounds like a good plan.
Valen is still at the right hook if you want to meet her.
Valen's nose deep into a book right now.
I mean, if you're meeting us by the gate, she still has to meet up with us as well.
We can collect her on our way back from the speaker. It's okay. I would probably like to grab a drink or two for the road.
Yes, make sure to get a
Warm up the
hot
blood.
chocolate.
What is a hot chocolate?
It is something that I've seen children and the elderly drink, typically before their bedtime.
So, you spend a lot of time around children and the elderly?
I used to watch after a town before I had to venture up here. They had to share many things on how to interact with others.
All right, I'll take your word for it.
And I think we leave.
So, Guardian's headed for the gates. Where are the rest of you headed to?
Rorgar is gonna go talk to the speaker one last time, and maybe everyone wants to come with me.
Yeah, I'll follow. Virion will follow Rogar.
So, as you head your way back to probably the town square, to the town hall. Let's see, I'll have Valin actually catch up with you. And as you're making your way to the town hall, you notice that Valin is being led by a group of guards. There's probably about 10 of them. And following the guards is your good friend, the dwarf Shander. Shander doesn't look any worse for wear, actually. He does have a big smile on his face as he noticed all of you approaching. Well, hello, my friends. Always good to see you.
No, we are not your friend. And what are you doing with our actual friend?
Well, I thought since I'm currently now sheriff, elected official of the town, my first order of business will be to run off any of the riffraff that we have here, any of the, bottom-dwelling, feeding parasites, and who knows? The first thing I find is you and your friends.
The only parasite here is you, Shandar.
He laughs. Huh. Wow, find it quite interesting that you're talking so tough now, my friend, seeing as how I have an army of 200 men behind me.
Friend, Velen, are you have you been hurt in any way?
And she says, "No, one of them tried, but I think he will think about it again the next time."
Shandar, you're in luck because we have an important mission to do. Velen here is actually with us, and we are leaving in just a few moments.
Oh, well, it's good that you leave then. We can all be in agreement that you don't have any more business here in Bryan Shander, and in fact, maybe you don't come back this way again either.
That is fine by me. But I do have to say goodbye to the speaker first. We do have some business with her after the whole encounter with the dragon.
Speaker Shane is a bit busy at the moment. She's dealing with the injured and the hurt, and of course, she's a bit distraught from her friend, the old Sheriff Southwell, who she was quite close with, who was murdered recently. You might have heard.
Yes, but what we have to tell her is very important.
Well, you can always tell me, and I promise on my honor I'll deliver the message to her.
I do not trust you as far as I could throw you, and I believe I could throw you quite far.
And kind of laughs. That would be quite remarkable. Maybe you could write it down, assuming that you know how to write. You could write a note, and we could leave it for her.
Again, I just stated this. But maybe you have issues with hearing. I do not trust you. I would not give you a note to deliver because you would not deliver it.
That's when Shandar looks up. Oh, of course. Sadly, My dear, we could have been something. We could have had a remarkable time together, but you've chosen these poor sots. He's talking to you, Elijah.
Well, I guess I could say it is pleasant to run into you again. However, everyone else, why don't we just continue on with our journey for now? And, perhaps this wasn't as important as we thought. I wouldn't want to get in the way of the authorities here, so we do have business to attend to, travel to make. It's going to take a while for us to get there, and I wouldn't want to run into nighttime.
Of course, once again, the best decisions of your group being made by the beautiful Laja. Can't say I'm quite surprised.
Shander, did you know that after you were shamed into leaving Goodmead, that the whole town threw a party to celebrate?
Well, they probably should. Because of me and my men, we stopped a band of orcs from taking over the town.
Yeah, the party was actually called "Thank Goodness We Got Rid of the Hookworms" party, because you're a parasite and you do parasitic things, and that's why they were comparing you to hookworms, because you're a parasite, and they're happy to get rid of you, like you do when you get rid of hookworms, the parasite, which again you're like.
Slam!
Now that the
Seek
roads are
fire.
clear, we can certainly take the heads of those orcs that we took and put them on spikes to deter any sorts of problems. I'm sure the people of Goodmead will appreciate me considerably. There was some sort of rumor that someone had tried to make a bargain with the orcs. Of course, you don't bargain with orcs.
Maybe not here, because there are a lot of stupid people like you, but actually, where I'm from, you can bargain with almost anyone, and most people are amicable to situations that do not lead to violence.
Well, why don't we try it, my friend? I'll make you a bargain. Let's say you find your way to the gate immediately, or I will take, as I said before, the 200 soldiers I now have under my command to motivate you a little faster.
Are the 200 soldiers here?
There's a considerable number. There's probably about 50 here. He's counting the entire force of Bryn Shander.
I think Rorgar will just turn to start walking away towards the gate.
Well, anyway, good luck with your new position, and Elijah's going to turn away, leaving that sentence.
Shandar calls back to you before he turns and he says, "Oh, thank you, dear. And also thank you for all of your help with my position. I couldn't have made it without you."
Oh.
I'm ignoring him.
So after traveling to the gate, I'd say you probably make your way to the eastern gate of town.
Wow, that was quick.
Yeah, to the eastern gate. So,
Go
ahead,
what
Guardian.
resources? What supplies did we get in terms of rations?
Unfortunately, they didn't have too much food to give you. I think they only had about 2 rations total to provide.
And it's a how many day trip?
It is 24 hours if there's no other extenuating conditions, and that's if you go straight, like Bryn Shander, following the road to East Haven, and then East Haven cutting across the tundra to the glacier. And that's Guardian
Okay.
speed.
Between
Well,
everyone, we
technically-
have the resources.
We do have the resources. If I have some forethought in a spell slot, I can create food and water, so we don't have to worry too much.
We also have the Goliath camp that we're going to stop at, and they might have some stuff too.
All right, this will be fun. I'll make sure that Brian just stands there for there like I have nothing.
And Guardian, you notice your friends, your companions, and also Valen being escorted by pretty much a horde of guards. There are about 50 on them. And the guards have spears, it's the Bryn Shander guard, so spears, crossbows, the whole situation.
Wow, the speaker really wants us gone, huh?
Not the speaker. Sheriff Shander insists that we leave immediately.
Oh. You mean the crooked individual who was kicked out of Goodmead because he was secretly plotting and being a gaming piece of shit?
Stealing money from the town. Yes,
Yeah.
that piece of shit, yes.
We
Oh.
were already intending on leaving, so,
Do you think we should try and trigger another snap election and the speaker might select Shandar to be her fighter and Guardian can kill Shandar legally?
I'm not quite into this. Let's just get on our way.
Get me my chain.
All right, we won't kill Laja's boyfriend just yet.
I
Laja,
stand
you can do
against
better.
that statement specifically, and you know that I do not like that.
Laja, you can do so much better than Shandor.
I hope we never run into him again.
Oh, I hope I made him in a dark alleyway. Oh, it'd be such a treat. Meet him and that other speaker from that ruined town. I'm terrible with names.
Max.
I somehow regret my decision to prevent him from dying.
Yeah.
But Valen
That's not
remarks
even a
that
chain talking.
she's writing when the axe speaks now, and she says, I've noticed a pattern every town that you visit. When you leave, they seem to want to kill you.
No,
I'm
that's
sorry,
not true.
the last two times we saw you in two, they had the same thought. So,
She laughs, well, I guess I fit in perfectly.
you have to try and keep up. Yeah, Garland's going to activate Guardian mode. Choo choo.
And as you're getting ready to leave, Ollie flies off of Valen's shoulder and lands on your shoulder, Guardian. And she lands on the burnt arm, and she says, did you know that your arm is burnt?
Did you know that you're not a real bird?
Did you know that you're not really a suit of armor?
Did you know that, Yep.
And with that interesting exchange, you all begin to head. Valen's given you directions to head to the Goliath encampment. And you noticed in the morning, just before the fight with the sheriff took place, that it looked like a storm was starting to blow in. And Icewind Dale always being the friendly place, not too much time passes when the storm does blow in. And it's the typical, blizzard that you've been through before. And as it gets closer to night, visibility starts to go down. And so in this situation, particularly to Virion, when you're in a blizzard, you remember you always have disadvantage from any kind of ranged weapon attack, that sort of situation.
Right.
But it's the wind, the snow blowing in your face. And Valen, she kind of looks up from her axe peak. She has her hood pulled down very low on her face. And she says, everyone, we're not too far away from the Goliath camp. It's a cave built off of the side of one of the cliffs. I know they'll have food. They're very friendly. It's not much further. Quick question though, what did we do with Suzanne?
I think Suzanne would be just following us out.
Okay.
Maybe when we get closer to closer to camps and stuff, we sometimes tell her to keep her distance until we know it's safe.
Yeah, not this map. That doesn't mean anything is going to happen. So as you're continuing along, Virion, can you give me a survival check first?
I imagine because Guardian's doing his Guardian thing, I'm going to be up wherever the front of the party would be.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And Virion, you would have advantage because this is one of those snow checks again.
All right, perfect.
All right, with such a good roll, you're moving through the snow kind of behind Guardian as Guardian is doing his high-speed move, cutting you all a path to move through. And you stop as you have just a sixth sense kind of kicks in, and you see some of the snow in front of you get disturbed and kind of fall down. And you have this intuition, and you put your hand to the ground, and it feels like the ground is shaking.
We've got company here, folks. There's something moving. I don't know how many, but it's enough to shake the ground a little bit here.
And Guardian will pull at them all.
Beside you, Wargar, Suzanne kind of lowers her head down, and she kind of crouches down the snow, and she says, "Mother, something is approaching. It is large. Would you like me to go and tear it to pieces?"
No, Suzanne, it is okay. We should wait and see what it is.
Just before we roll initiative, let me describe what emerges from the snow ahead of you. What you first catch sight of is a large mammoth. So this thing is huge, and it is racing across the snow. And on the back of the mammoth is a giant figure, a frost giant in fact, who's wearing armor that looks like it's made out of bone. His skin is like a pale blue, and he has a long beard, and he has what's like a long spear, it looks like, made out of bone. And he's charging right at you, Guardian, at top speed. If everybody could roll initiative for me, please.
Yeah.
13.
7.
We got some good initiative this time, guys.
There's actually two figures. There's the frost giant and then the mammoth that he's riding on, which I think we try to put their tokens like that. And they are both huge, so that's the size. They take up 3 squares.
Oh no.
And I think the first person we go with, yeah, is Guardian.
Rage against the machine. That. There we go. And Rage of the machine. Yeah, I'm just gonna rush towards the mammoth, and I'm going to recklessly strike at it with the maul.
Okay.
Because that's the thing I can reach right now. Because I'm assuming he's on the back, and that's a pretty high up position. Yeah.
You could reach him, but it would be a disadvantage.
Yeah. I'll strike at the mammoth.
19 will hit.
12 damage. And my second attack, reckless, of course.
A 23 will hit.
20 damage.
So as you strike this mammoth, you can tell you're sort of chopping down a tree here with an axe. Your strikes do cut away at the mammoth, but it's thick hide and everything. You don't draw blood really. It just scratches away on this thing.
It is resistant to bludgeoning.
Which I believe takes us to the frost giant. And you so considerately brought yourself right to him.
Such is my role as guardian.
So
I have no Shandor.
he attacks twice with that giant lance that he has that's made out of bone.
He's needs to get a 15.
He rolls a 28 and then a 15. That is a total of 50 piercing damage.
25 damage.
And we move on to Virion.
Okay.
Oh, damage. Ouch.
So I'm going to start by casting Hunter's Mark on the Frost Giant. Oh, I don't know if that came through, but there we go. And then I will. Sorry, I don't know why that came through twice. Run up and let's see if I can make it there. 3, 5, 3. Would I be able to reach the frost giant from here?
If you're using your sword, yeah, you would, but you'd have a disadvantage.
Ooh, right. Yeah, okay, I'll take the disadvantage swing with the moon blade.
A 13 unfortunately does not hit.
All right, I'll try with my second attack. I'll swing at the mammoth. Oh, sorry, not at disadvantage. 7 anyways.
Yeah, the mammoth of 14 will hit.
Oh, sorry, that was at disadvantage. I would have the.
If you're fighting the mammoth, it's not a disadvantage though. The
Okay.
disadvantage is trying to hit the frost giant on top of the mammoth.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah, so if you're attacking the mammoth, the 14, oh wait, no, you don't have advantage, so 7. I see what you were saying. Yes.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if it only
you're
put the lower one first or what the deal was there, but I think that's your first roll and your second roll, right?
Yeah, the first one, the
Okay.
7. That was my bad.
All right.
I just assumed you were flanking, but you're not because they're so huge.
Yeah. No worries. So nothing doing there. And I think that's about all I can do.
Okay. So moving on to the mammoth. The mammoth, let's see, the mammoth he kind of rears back and tries to take his 2 front feet and stomp down on you, Guardian. Oh, you did reckless attack, didn't you?
Yep, so it has advantage.
Yeah, 22.
Yep, that'll hit.
That is 29 bludgeoning damage. And next up is Suzanne. Oh wait, we don't have Laja on here.
Or Velen.
I don't know why it didn't say that. I have it 8, but
Or Guardian's Shadow. He gets to attack 4 times.
Yeah, let's skip and have Laja next because she's actually higher up. She should have gone before Virion. And let me go ahead and roll for Velen. We'll just have Valin go last.
Well, I am going to use my lovely last third level spell slot, and I'm going to cast Aura of Vitality for all of us. And I'm going to use the first one of that on Guardian, because Guardian is within range. Virion is not. I'll have to move up further. So that's 9 healing. And that's my action and bonus action.
Okay. Now we'll go to Suzanne.
Okay. Can I hold Suzanne's action so that Suzanne will move once Rorgar gets on top of Suzanne?
Yeah, you can do that. Sure.
And can mounting Suzanne, is that part of my movement?
I've saved this before, and I don't think I have it in front of me. 1 second. It takes an amount of movement equal to half your speed.
Okay, yeah. So Suzanne will hold her action to move until after Rorgar mounts Suzanne. So then on Rorgar's turn, he will run to Suzanne, mount up, and then Suzanne will move to here. And with Rorgar's action, he is going to use Lay on Hands to give 25 points of healing to Guardian.
And I think from Suzanne's back, if you attack the Frost Giant, you won't have disadvantage.
And then as a bonus action, I would like to cast Shield of Faith on Rorgar. Is going to cast Shield of Faith on himself.
Okay.
I think that's a bonus action. Yeah, okay.
Okay. And let's see, Valin. So Valin steps forward. She kind of jumps off of the axe beak. She waves her hand in the air, says a magical incantation, and casts Hold Person on the Frost Giant. And let me see if he saves, because it's a whiz save.
I was thinking of doing that.
The Frost Giant freezes in mid-motion as he was like stretching forward to try to stab at Guardian again, and he is held. Valin has a big smile on her face. So basically, he can make another check at the end of his turn, but otherwise, he is paralyzed.
Does that mean he's considered helpless?
So paralyzed automatically fails strength and dex saving throws. Attacks against him have advantage, and if you hit him, you have a critical hit.
Okay.
So you want to attack him right now.
Yes.
But that will be Valin's turn, taking us back around to Guardian.
Okay, so he's up high. It means I would have disadvantage, and if I was reckless, I'd cancel it to normal. And then since he's paralyzed, I have advantage.
I think it's supposed to cancel out, but I think I've not rolled it that way in the past, so yeah, I would give you advantage.
I'm gonna go for his ankle. That's gonna hurt. Smash your ankle against something? That's what I'm gonna do with my ball. Recklessly advantage. Yeah. 24.
24 hits.
12. but it's a crit. So what do I have to do special for that?
I believe you just double the damage.
Okay, that's 24. And then
No, you would roll 2 more of your damage dice. You double the damage dice.
I know James will go back and forth on it. It's like one James will do one. Like Josh, how are you doing it?
I would say double it unless you want to roll the dice. You could roll the dice and take the chance. You could get higher, or you could just double it and go with what you got.
With the maul, I'll just take the double. Yeah. And
To
then
me, it's like
second.
rolling hit points. You can take the gamble if you want, or you can just take the average.
Okay. Then yeah, I'll attack again. Recklessly advantage. 17.
A 17 will hit.
Pretty.
And 17 damage.
Oh yeah. 32, 34. No, I can't math
Oh,
right
well,
now.
you didn't crit there, so you just take 17. Oh wait, it is a crit. I forgot because he's held. Yes, that is double damage.
You don't double the rage though, right? It's just the dice rolls that's doubled. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's supposed to be just the dice that's doubled.
Right.
So 20 and 30.
So it's
Yeah.
just hitting like a truck.
Rage
guess
is
guard-
considered a modifier. I just checked it. Yep, it doesn't double.
Right on the ankle.
Taking us to the frost giant. He's gonna see if he can break free. And he does break free. He is actually going to give a command to his mammoth, which we will take on the mammoth turn.
I don't think he can because he has to make the save at the end of his turn.
That's true. Okay. That's right. It is at the end of his turn. He's saved, so his next turn he can do something. Takes us to Laja.
Okay, I'm going to move up just enough so that all of the people up here are within range. And let's see, I'm going to give 2d6 back to Guardian again because he apparently still has no health whatsoever.
I'm at 58.
You have 12 more.
Ooh. And I'm 5 away from full.
And then, I have an action left, so why not let's Sacred Flame him, see
Whoa.
how he does on a deck save.
He does poorly, and he takes the full damage.
Nice.
It's nice to have it work for once. Great, I'll stay where I am.
Oh.
And it takes us to Virion.
I am going to jump up and try and swing with my Moonblade. So I have disadvantage because I'm low, but then he's still incapacitated. So
He's
does
not
that cancel out?
incapacitated anymore. He broke free on his
Oh,
turn.
okay.
So.
So it's still disadvantage then.
Yeah.
All right.
If you get around behind him, we have flank.
That's true, eh? I do have some movement here. Okay, I think I'm gonna move for that. So 5, 10, 15, 20. And so that should cancel it out for normal then. So I will
Yeah, because you are flanking him. Yep.
Perfect. So I will swing with my Moonblade.
Unfortunately, a 13 doesn't hit. His AC is 15.
And I'll swing again.
And
Oh
a
my
12
God.
also doesn't hit. You do have inspiration though.
You know what? Why not burn it here? I will use that inspiration. I'll take a third crack with the Moonblade.
Sorry, 9 isn't helping either.
It was worth it. And
All right.
Yeah.
So the mammoth kind of roars in fear and turns to run away, giving all of you guys, everyone except for Laja, the opportunity to do an attack if you so wish on just the mammoth.
I'll take an attack of opportunity.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
A 13 will hit.
That means the mammoth's speed is reduced to 0.
Oh, so the mammoth's not going anywhere. Okay.
Yes, Sentinel has paid off.
I think it's come up twice now.
Guardian,
13 hits?
you will hit with a 13.
Damage.
Sorry, a 7 will not hit Virion.
Very
The
good.
Suzanne's bite will hit with a 14 though.
I think Virion has a defective sword.
Yeah, we're gonna have to try something else here.
It's because it's still daylight. You know, it's a moonblade.
That's a
Gotta
good
be.
point.
Yeah, so I think that's everybody. Everyone hits except for Virion, and Rorgar, your attack somehow causes the mammoth to freeze in its tracks.
Yeah, I think as it turns, Rorgar like kind of dips low and hacks at its Achilles, and that it doesn't cut like right through, but it's enough to slow the mammoth from running away.
But let's see, it does still have its action though. So it, after you stop it, Rorgar, it swings around with its tusks and it tries to skewer you.
Me,
How's an 18?
aha! Because I use Shield of Faith, my armor class is currently 20.
Lucky for you, because that would have been 25 piercing damage.
Eek.
Taking us to Suzanne.
Suzanne will take has gotten the taste for mammoth flesh, so we'll make another attack against the mammoth.
Unfortunately, not good enough. That doesn't hit.
But also we'll use Suzanne's movement just to scoot over to this side. And then Rorgar will go, and Rorgar he's swinging up at the frost giant, hoping to score a critical hit.
Uh, 16 will hit.
With that hit, as Rorgar swings his blade, you see a bright light along the edge as he uses Divine Smite at a 2nd level. So 12 normal damage, and then 3d, I think it's 3d8.
Paladins.
Yeah, 3d8 additional radiant damage.
Damn.
So 31.
Yeah, 31 damage total on the first attack.
Nice.
On the first attack. Yeah. Paladins.
I wanted to do a different one, but I have to maintain concentration, so I can't do it. And there's attack number 2.
That'll hit.
This one will also be a Divine Smite, but just level 1. So another 20 damage.
Yeah, so this heavily wounds the frost giant. He's barely keeping himself on his saddle as he kind of lets out a scream and he swings his lance wildly. But I think that takes us to Valin. who I'm sorry did not really plan for it to have an action at this point. Here we go. Okay. So Vlyn holds out her fingers, or holds out her hand, and out of her fingers fire magic missiles. So let me roll the damage for that, because I think it always hits. She hits him for 11 damage.
Nice.
Taking us to Guardian.
I'm gonna whack his ankle again. Whackety whack.
Reckless, I assume?
Yeah, if I want advantage.
Well, you have advantage with Virion, so you don't really have to.
Well, look, because he's up high, so disadvantage.
Yeah, that's right. So advantage with Virion would cancel that out. If you wanted advantage, you would need to Reckless, yep.
Yeah, I'll just reckless. Wow. 21.
21 will hit.
10 damage. And second attack. 23.
You don't need to make that second attack on him, because you killed him with the first one.
I don't even know how I'm supposed to say I can look at I'm just going for his freaking ankle joint.
You can make your second attack on him if you want. I thought you would want to use it on the mammoth, but you killed him with the first attack.
Well, now the mammoth is a rider, so the mammoth should be free to be free. Oh, hey, we can actually use this mammoth. So I guess what I'm going to do is I don't know, pull him down and crack him across the head.
Yeah, so your first blow, the frost giant falls off the back of the mammoth. And lands with like a crunch to the side of where you are, Virion. Yeah, but he's very dead. But you could do your second attack. You've already rolled it if you want. That could be against the mammoth. If you'd like.
No. Don't want to attack the mammoth. The mammoth is just a beast being used.
Okay.
I just wanted its attention the first time. But now that it has no master, it's free.
With the frost giant falling dead beside it, the mammoth looks like it tried to bolt before, but now it's very much looking for a way out.
Just gonna stand back and just hold up my hand. It's like the mammoth can leave. Unless we can use it. Very handy.
I mean, you could always try.
Okay. Did I try animal handling?
Yes. Do me an animal handling.
No advantage.
You do have inspiration still.
17. Was that enough?
17. Exactly what you needed, actually.
Yes.
The mammoth, it was turning to run, and it's definitely got the gear and stuff from the frost giant, and it kind of fixes its attention on you, Guardian.
I'm doing the Crocodile Dundee thing with the pinky and thumb extended out. I'm slowly reaching out for it, and once I get close enough, I put my hand on its head or its trunk, wherever I can, and just pat it.
And it kind of closes its eyes as you're petting its nose, and kind of kneels down, I guess, on its belly as it lowers down to let you do that. But it's not hostile anymore, so that will take us out of combat.